Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, good teachers and administrators. It is the champion principal. Hey, I just want to share a couple things with you. One thing that I saw that worked very well at my school this year is the data team process. The data team process, the RTI process, and the PLC process. And one thing that I found, and I know we all read the PLC books and we know about the data team process. And I know that the principal basically leads all of these processes and things like that. But I'll tell you one thing I've learned is that the teachers need to lead those processes. It's the teacher students, it's the teacher's data. They understand the students and the data more than anybody. Yeah, the principal, the instructional leader should understand the information and ask probing questions and provide specific resources and strategies for our boys and girls. But it all starts with the teachers. It starts with the instructional leaders inside the classroom. This is just my belief. And I've noticed that when the principal is in the meeting is one way. When the principal is not in the meeting, the meeting goes another way. So what I've learned is, in most cases, the teachers can lead their own meeting with the instructional coaches and the principals in the meetings to kind of ask those probing questions to kind of help, to kind of like trigger their mind a little bit, to make them think about some things that they did not think about. Ask those probing questions. Why is Johnny struggling in this area? If it's a motivation issue, why is it a motivation issue? What are you doing about the motivation issue? What wraparound services are you providing? Did you do a counselor referral, social worker referral, any other type of wraparound services that we may have? And that's one thing I noticed with some people is that we'll say a kid has a motivation problem, but we don't even know what the child like. Ask the kid what they like. That's very important. If you ask the kid what he likes, then maybe you can provide some of those motivational things that will assist that boy or girl. So that's just part of building a better relationship with our boys and girls. It's not good enough just to say the child is not motivated. We need to find out why the child is not motivated. What can we as teachers and instructional leaders do about that? And that's when we have to dig deeper. Have a conversation. You will be amazed how many educators do not actually have conversations with our students. Not my school, I'm at schools in general. Many people do not talk to the boys and girls. It's like this thing like they just assume that the boys and girls know, and you assume that you know everything about them. You have to take time to have a real conversation. You have to have time. You have to make time to pick up the phone and call the parent to figure out what's going on. Not one time, I'm talking about several times. You have to reach out to the counselors, the social workers, big brothers and big sisters to find out what can we do to help our boys and girls. One thing as an administrator, I always ask, what do they like? And a lot of times we don't know what they like. And then if we do know what they like, are you providing those likes for our boys and girls? We have to motivate them. Gone are the days where students just come to school and they just motivated. Yeah, some are, but some are not. And those are the ones that you have to put that extra work in to find out what motivates them. That hurts me when people say they're not motivated. Well, they're not motivated because you're not motivating them. I'm not motivating them. We have to come up with different strategies and different ideas to motivate them, guys. So that's one thing I want to encourage all our educators to do. Get to know your boys and girls. Stop saying that they're not motivated. I mean, what does that say about us? It's our job and our responsibility to motivate them. It's our responsibility to reach them. Their lives depend on it. That's why it's important. So we have to figure out different ways to reach them. You want to be motivated as a teacher. You want to be motivated as an administrator. You want somebody to say, hey, you did a good job. Thank you. I appreciate it. And point out the good things about you. So that's what we have to do for our boys and girls as well. Find ways to motivate them and encourage them. It can be a popcorn party. It can be, I love you. It can be, hey, you did a good job today. It's not that hard. It's the smallest things, but it takes just a little bit of extra time. So make sure you're going that extra mile. You're motivating our boys and girls. And when you have the data team process, 5-step data team process, guys, It sounds scary. It sounds scary, but the only thing with the data team process is what data are you going to use? Find out, hey, are you going to use Dibble's data, Scantron data, map data, or whatever data you're going to use? Find out the data that you're going to use. Have a clear understanding of what the data says about your boys and girls and about your instruction. And you have to be willing to make changes to your instruction. If 40% of your students do not know their letters, guess what? You have to change your instruction. I know it's hard for many of us educators to take that because we think because we teach it, oh, they supposed to get it. But guys, we got to get off that high horse and just think we got it like that. Sometimes we did not teach it right. We did not teach it effectively. We did not teach it consistently. We did not correct the errors and things like that. So we have to go back and say, hey, if a certain percentage of our boys and girls did not master it, what do I need to do? I need to put those boys and girls in small group. Change up the small groups. You can't use the same small group that you've always used. So sometimes you have to rotate the boys in and out, change the small groups. And sometimes if little Chris over there don't get it, put little Chris back into that extra small group. Make sure little Chris is seeing the interventionist. Make sure the counselor is involved with little Chris, because there may be a lot of things they just do not get. And that's really what the data team process is really all about. It's understanding your data, knowing what you taught, changing what you taught, giving them an extra dose of what you taught, create new strategies, formative assessments, common formative assessments, having conversations with your team. You'll be amazed how many people that say they're on a team, but they don't even really have conversations. That's mind-blowing. You know, you have 3 teachers around you who are teaching the same subject. Have conversations. Hey, Miss Such and Such, what worked for you? What did not work for you? What strategy are you using? Why are you able to be successful with this amount of students and I was not be? Let me tell you what I did. What did you do? You gotta have those types of conversations. And that's what the data team process is all about. Let that guide your instruction. When they talk about guiding instruction, understand what you taught, understand what did your students master and what they did not master, and what are you going to do about it if they do not master it. That's the thing. You cannot just let the ball keep rolling just because you taught it and you're trying to get to the next standard. That don't make sense. Sometimes most of the times, you have to stop right there where you are and find out what you need to do to help your boys and girls master it. And then those districts who have the RTI, response to instruction, the key to that is, it's similar to the data team process. Find out what strategies you need to use. That's the key to it. It's like providing an IEP, but it's like an IEP for your regular students who may need it. So you're providing these extra resources for your boys and girls who are struggling. And not only that, guys, we got to get to the point where the students who got it, what are we going to do about those boys and girls? Do we just keep teaching them on the same level, or do we give them a higher level of instruction? And that's where you have to bring your gifted teachers in to do different things for them, to keep pushing them so they can keep staying proficient. And those boys and girls who may not be proficient, you want to keep on providing additional instruction, extra resources, extra intervention for them. And you want to really have a good understanding of your strategies, guys. You know, and that's one thing we struggle with, is understanding specifically what standards or what strategies rather is needed for these boys and girls who have not mastered the standards, having a good understanding of it and changing those strategies. A lot of times we get stuck, oh, I tried this, I tried that, but you got 50 other strategies out there, and then give it an opportunity to work. So once you give it a specific amount of time to see if those strategies are working for particular boys and girls, change it up if it's not working. Communicate with your grade level. Communicate with your PLC team. Reach out. Google, YouTube, read different books and things like that. So we just have to make sure we're maximizing our instruction. We just cannot have a closed mind and say, I tried this and I did that. We have to make sure we're doing everything that we can possibly do to move our boys and girls. So the data team process is very important. Understanding your data, making those changes, collaborating with your PLC team, collaborating with the team to find out what worked for this person, what did not work for that person, working together as a grade level, doing lesson plans, and just having conversations and discussions about your student, your principal asking probing questions about each one of those students and the different strategies with the instructional coach. Guys, I guarantee things are start going in a better direction if we all are collaborating together as a group. Using that RTI process and including the counselor and the social worker in that, and just diagnosing everything about our boys and girls and provide all those services and wraparound service for our boys and girls. So guys, this is a couple things I wanted to share with you. If you do it effectively, you will see growth, you will see improvement. Again, thanks for listening to Champion Principal. Have a great day.